If it sounds like fun, go for it, especially if you're just by yourself. Just do something, excuse me, that you enjoy. And here's the other thing I think where mommy guilt can creep in. It's okay to take time for something that just you enjoy and that's not productive for your family. So on one hand, you could just spend your time going window shopping. You know, maybe on another day, you'd enjoy getting groceries for your family without your twins or all of your children, because later on, you'll have smoother sailing because your your cupboards are stocked and you know what's going to be for dinner that night. So it depends on you and what you choose, but set yourself up for success rather than just like, you know, keeping stuck in that same frustrated place. And I say that because that's what I did and it didn't work real well. So here's another time to kind of pause with some questions to think through. And again, I'll email these to you later. Ask yourself, what refuels me? Number 2, when was the last time I really laughed? What made me laugh? What was I doing and who was with me? You need to surround yourself with fun people or rent a funny movie or, you know, go to the fun, especially if you're overwhelmed. Question 3, ask yourself, what do I want to accomplish today? So it's kind of like you're making a little list, or maybe what would be fun to accomplish. And then 4, brainstorm a list of 25 things you enjoy doing and then do them. Not all at once, but, you know, then you've got kind of a go-to place. It's kind of like a bucket list, but more like I have twins and need a list of fun things to do in my free time list because I can't think of something fun at the spur of the moment. So if the first key is to enjoy what you're doing or do what you enjoy, the second key to taking action is plan ahead. So I'm a procrastinator, and I've learned that it doesn't mix real well with having twins, because in order to get yourself out the door, you've got to take care of 2 other little people. So, you know, invest in a really great hat, and I swear by those one-piece pajamas that zip from like toe to neck, because it's one piece. You don't have to mess with socks, shoes, the cutesy pieces. I mean, it's fun to dress up twins cute, but you're never going to get anywhere. So be well-intentioned and plan ahead. Otherwise, your free time will slip through your fingers. Here's a recent example. For my birthday this year, I asked my husband for the gift of time. And this is the first year I've done this, and I wished I'd done it on other birthdays, but so my twins are 4.5. They're my oldest. I finally did it. I wanted a day to myself without the kids or my husband. I just wanted to go where I wanted to go, and I made it happen. I made a list of all the stores I wanted to go to, and it was like all about me. I never do this sort of thing, but it was fantastic. I highly recommend it. So now on this topic of planning, here's another question to ask yourself. How planned versus unplanned do I like to be? Like, I recommend planning a little bit, but I really like to just go with the flow and be open to opportunities that arise too, right? Like, hey, you could always have something frozen to pull out for dinner, but what if someone asks you, hey, do you guys want to go out for pizza or come over for dinner, which rarely happens to our family, but you know, then you can drop it and go and have a fun time with friends and with your family. So the third key to taking time for yourself is to be flexible and to make it happen. It's kind of a 2-in-1 here, because we all have a tendency to sabotage our best efforts. Or sometimes our best efforts get sabotaged. We have had a very sick year in our family this year, so colds, you can hear it in my voice. I'm sorry, my throat's getting dry because I've been fighting a cold for several months. So things happen, and it's a bummer. Like, you might get a babysitter, and she cancels on you. Or something's going wrong in her life, and she can't help you out, and it's a major disappointment. So here's the thing. Don't let it ruin your whole day. I mean, try to shift your plans and still head out the door with all the kids. Maybe you just go for a drive. That's okay. Or maybe you walk around a park or try to find a, you don't always want to go and spend money, but go to the children's museum or still create an outing with you and your kids so that you can get out of the house, because it may not be your first choice, but it's an outing and it may just refresh one, if not all of you. So it's good to just get out. And, if you make plans, this has happened to me too, making plans for dinner, go out with my husband, and we get to the restaurant, and we're so exhausted. We have nothing to talk about. And, we can't think straight because we're so tired. But you know what? Like, you're at a restaurant. So pick your favorite meal, enjoy it, realize you don't have to make the dinner and you don't have to clean up, and then just set aside the disappointment of, oh, shoot, we didn't really connect much, but, hey, enjoy what you do have. So here are a couple more questions to ponder. How do you handle disappointment? And 2, who do I know that could watch my kids? Sometimes the best way to get out the door is to have a long list of people who you could call to babysit, babysitters to hire, friends to swap kids with. Maybe there's a great aunt in the area that would come watch your kids for an hour. I mean, take what you can get. The third question is, what can I plan so that I have something to anticipate in the next week? I found that to be really helpful, where I'm going to bed some night and it's like, oh, good, tomorrow morning is the library morning, or it's the toddler play time at the gym, or, oh, I planned a play date with my friends. At least we can be together and kind of be in the thick together. So having something to anticipate really helps. So, as I kind of wrap up what I have to share, I'd love to hear from you guys. Why don't, just to kind of follow up with what you heard me say, I'm curious what you learned tonight. What's something that you kind of maybe was a new learning, or just a new reminder, or a fresh reminder? Would anyone like to share?
This is Allison. I was just thinking, Becky, we've talked a lot about this already with our coaching together, and I think one of the new things that sort of came to my mind, that's just living with people and little kids, twins or not, is just how to live with disappointment. That kind of struck me, because I feel like you could be disappointed on a daily basis with your children because, there's the sickness comes up, or someone doesn't like the outing that you've chosen, even though you thought it'd be a good idea. And so how you deal with that kind of creates the flavor for the day, and you can choose good or you can choose dwell in the negative. So it's kind of a mindset shift in terms of how to deal with these daily disappointments and the hardships. So definitely hard, but worth attacking.
And if you don't mind sharing a bit more, Allison, how have you learned on those times when they're just throwing it back at you with attitude, or crying, or or you're feeling really disappointed? What have you found to work?
Well, I can't really answer that because I don't think I have, really. I feel like that's an ongoing struggle.
How old are your twins? Sorry to interrupt.
They're 3.
No.
It's fine. They're 3. They turned 3 in October. And I think the hard thing is that they're just so unlike me in every way. They're so emotional. They just, I feel like, to sum them up, I would say, not to be mean, but they're quite wimpy. Like, they're quite dramatic. And I don't relate, and I find that really hard to know even what to do with them sometimes, because what I imagined myself doing with my 3-year-old is just not their thing. So it's tricky. It's difficult. And so,
whereas you want to go for a hike,
like, can we
they
just
want
go
to
for
play
a little
with
walk?
baby dolls, or
or just like they trip and then the day is over, right? They're done. They want to go home, and we've been outside for 2 minutes, right? So
for sure.
I don't know.
I appreciate your honesty, because I found the same thing, that disappointment continues. So it's it is making that choice. How will you live with the disappointment? Because it will happen.
It will happen, yeah.
Yeah.
So don't
Thanks,
avoid
Allison.
it. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyone else want to comment about something they learned or kind of a new insight? Or
This is Sam. I think the best thing for me is to get out of the house, like you spoke about a lot. A lot of times I'll say, yeah, we're going to go to a play date tomorrow, but I'll find any excuse to get out of it, which is so dumb, because then when I get up and actually go, yeah, there's times where they're both crying and it's a mess, but it makes the day so much better when you go out and do something. Even if it's something like, strolling them up to the park. It really makes your day so, for me personally, it just makes my day so much easier. I mean, today we went to a doctor's appointment, and it made my day easier because I came home, and instead of being at 1 o'clock, it was like 4:30 already. I was like, woohoo, 3 hours till bedtime. And that was a doctor's appointment.
I love that. Yeah, I spent some time at the doctor.
Yeah, so I think just getting out of the house is so important. Even though it's like by the time you get them all ready to go, it's like you're too pissed off to leave, but just force yourself to go.
And you're sweating, so you have to change your shirt.
Yeah, exactly. And you're just like, you feel like you've already had a full day, and it's like hasn't even started.
Amen.
But
sometimes even the disappointing outings or the outings that are just a complete gong show, at least when you get home, you're happy to be home. Like
yeah, absolutely.
Being home feels like, I needed to get out. Like, good or bad, it's always nice to do something.
So to go along with that, sorry.
This is Lindsay, right?
Yeah. To go along with that, I was going to say my biggest thing I've learned with, especially with having my 4, is if at first you don't succeed, it's a lesson that they've learned. And it's like, I feel like the more I go out, the more I take them out, the more they learn how much they're not going to get away with in public. Like, you cannot teach those lessons in your house.
Mm-hmm.
You're right.
So it makes it easier down the road. Like, I took him to Red Robin last week, and it was a horrific experience because it took so long. But it could have been worse because my kids were not, like, completely screaming and running around the restaurant.
Sure.
So, anyway.
And sidebar, to read more about that, Lindsay writes a great blog called Silly Mom Thoughts, so you can read about that very story. You'll feel like you know Lindsay very well. Is there anyone else that wanted to share something they learned about just in this last couple of minutes?
This is Kristen. I learned what I'm going to ask for my next birthday.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh, yeah.
Time away. And when's your birthday? Because I think I could come shopping with you.
Oh, absolutely. As long as you're not, 3 feet tall, you're welcome to come with me.
Exactly. I promise I won't whine. I won't cry. And I'll even
maybe a little.
Give you personal space if you need it.
No, that's a great idea.
Gift of time is a lovely gift. And hey, here's another idea for you. So I've found that Mother's Day ends up being sort of this awkward dance of, honey, what are you going to make for dinner? Well, what do you want? Well, could you do this? And then it doesn't turn out, and then it's late, and it's not quite what you expected. So this is what I've said to my husband. I would really appreciate having the day away for Mother's Day. I don't know if that sounds cruel and unusual, but I said, hey, I would love to watch the kids on Father's Day so you could have a day away, or, whatever. Do it on the Saturday close by or something. And then you can have